Oh no, he's talking about you. I think when you used to play lineups.
He said the fat kid.
Alright. By the way, it's recording right now.
Plays Strike. So they do know us.
No, they do.
I actually play Rabbit. No, he doesn't. He's back. Where's the backpack? Just because you own a deck that has rabbits in it doesn't mean that's what you play.
I play Rabbit too.
Change the sensitivity for the volume.
Dark Rabbit's pretty good.
It's so cramped. Are we good?
I think you're okay.
You can see me on the recording. Oh, we're good.
The guy in the turquoise, I saw him rip a kid once pretty bad too.
It's Bergen.
It's Bergen.
It is Bergen.
I wish Bergen was here.
Did I guess it? Is it Bergen?
I would doubt it.
Got the DMOC for $1 once. No, you didn't get that DMOC. I was there. Maybe.
I'd have to do it off that computer to actually get it.
In other news, who uses the word turquoise?
Face does.
Well, I would probably.
Alright, so just stop it. And we're just gonna start this.
Okay. Let's start.
Okay.
Little fat Mexican kid.
What?
No, meaning you got the demon from the little fat Mexican kid.
Can you start the
Manual.
list already?
Alright.
No, it wasn't a manual.
Oh yeah, so who's piece of paper?
No.
I have a piece of paper. This piece of paper has cards on it.
Alright, what's
No,
going on
actually, that's
YouTube?
worth it.
Jamelin here. We're doing a ban list discussion for us and stuff.
Cool.
So, leading us is going to be Gallop Phase 13. We're going to.
this year.
No, it's gonna. You can see it in the live stream. It's gonna be covered over with face from Nick Jr. So it'll all be good.
You don't have to.
I probably will,
If you want to.
just for rules, because somebody commented in the one of the videos that said, "Is Face's face going to be covered again or showed this year?"
Okay.
So.
You got that recognized here?
What?
You actually got that recognized here?
Yeah. Well, there was one form of face that was out of the way. You just see the face.
There's one small little cut.
It's gonna happen now too. It's probably gonna be little. The guy with
Nope.
glasses tried to sell it.
Yeah, because they were $7 a piece.
What
Or
card?
$8.
What?
Drag
Drag
downs.
Hounds? Drag Hounds went for that.
They
Drag Hounds went for 12 at one point.
Alright,
Yeah.
we're gonna stop. Alright, we're gonna start with this ban list discussion right now. What was our first topic?
Well, we could either go down our lists of predictions, or we could just start talking about random cards that you think we want to talk about.
Well, first off, let's talk about what's going on in the OCG and differences.
Yeah, let's analyze the meta first. That's probably
Analyze
good.
the meta.
So, yeah.
Please take it over.
Who feels like talking about the OCG? 'Cause
I will, even though my knowledge is minimal.
I think Sheehan can go to 2. Alright, that's a good disclaimer. Alright, first of all, we're not going to, if we're going to make a prediction list, which I have right here, then we're not going to discuss a lot of OCG topics on this list, because even if we knew what was going on there, we haven't experienced it firsthand, so we're not in the right to say what should be banned and what shouldn't. You know, we're just not knowledgeable enough.
However, realistically, 80% of the decks there, if I was to give an estimate, it would seem 80% seems to be Insectors. And
Just before we even continue this, just make sure you guys are speaking up so that the camera can.
alrighty,
Higher than our
80% Insectors, most likely, and Heroes are doing well because they have a good matchup against Insectors. And one reason for this to be is because they don't have Tour Guide yet, which kills a lot of meta decks currently. Like they can't play Rabbit because they can't go into Levier.
It's pretty rad.
They do, but like
It's not as destructive.
They don't have Dolgan. Alright, if we were to break down the Japanese meta, it'd be Insectors, Heroes,
Offering gadgets.
offering gadgets.
Getting an extra
Hmm?
pack.
Well, yeah, soon.
Can I then?
Not right now. Can we?
Just leave them.
Just leave, whatever.
There's been a small number of Infernities.
There's Ver's Rabbit. Yeah, Ver's and Ver's Rabbit. And they said to leave him for now. Yeah. Because he actually told us a topic to discuss.
Which was?
Sheehan and Gateway.
Well,
Yeah,
who cares?
that's nice, I don't
We can figure that one
care.
out anymore.
We're talking about something.
So, yeah, we'll talk about that if and when we feel like it. So, yeah, that's our, brief analysis of their meta. Right now, they have a lot of good rank 4s that are good and pretty broken.
Like Revival Chain and Daigusto Emerald.
But since none of us here have really experienced those cards firsthand in the correct,
Not dueling network.
yeah, in the right context. Like, yeah, you can play it on dual net, but it's not the same. So we really can't say much about those cards, so we won't. But,
So, in the OCG, the injectors, for them to get hit, there are a lot of people saying Hornet, but there are other people saying that the deck doesn't even revolve around Hornet like ours does. They mostly use Ladybug to change the level, and because they're more focused on their exceeds than us. So there are a lot of people that are saying that Hornet might get limited or banned, but there are also people saying that Hornet might not get touched at all because of Ladybug is their main combo.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Going down the list, we have an ideal section and what we think it will actually happen. So we have a what we would like to happen and what will probably happen. So
It's a piece of paper.
I can't see it,
They
it's
can
black.
imagine.
well, yeah, they can imagine this.
Yeah.
There's two sides of paper: ideal and predictions.
So we're gonna go down the ideal list first, and speaking partially loudly so microphones can pick this up. We're going to go down the ideal list, and we're going to briefly explain why these are on that part of the list. So we got.
Okay. The second card, I'm not going to start with the first one. I don't want to talk about that yet. The second card on my ideal list is BLS is banned. And anybody have any thoughts about BLS getting banned?
While
Somebody
we
go.
discuss.
Go. Somebody go. Talk about BLS.
Not gonna happen.
Blackluster Soldier
It's
is
an ideal list.
Blackluster Soldier
Best
is
ritual card,
is a
easily. It's got like a lot of attack.
Rich.
It's really good in
Blue
Geesh.
eyes.
If Metamorphosis comes back, it'll be really good. So Blackluster Soldier, it's a very good card in our meta. Dragons are doing really well in their chaos-based deck. The Blackluster Soldier can basically win games by itself easily. You could get wind-up looped and have them kill your field, and if you top deck a BLS and they don't have an answer to it, you could just win the game from there.
I also think just on that topic, the BLS is just like it's one of those cards that feels like it's run its course for a little while. Let's have some more fun, see what else can come in. But that's not really how Konami.
I think it was cute. It was generous
It
of
was
them.
cute.
It was generous of Konami to give us like a nice old friend, But I think that's what it.
That's
what
why
it-
it's
what it
on
will
the
stay.
ideal. Doesn't mean it's actually gonna
Yeah.
happen, but
Yeah.
it's
What
on
we're-
the ideal.
Yeah, we're going down. It's very important that you guys know this. These are all things that are ideal to be put where they are.
Like, as weird as it sounds, I almost want to discuss DMOC with BLS because I think like
Yes.
the banning of BLS should come back.
Okay, that's a good idea. So, Morph just pointed out that it's nice to talk about Dark Condition of Chaos when you talk about BLS because
They're like brothers.
they're similar in many regards.
It just got reprinted
No, it's
in the Battle Pack to start.
Yeah. So,
They just released a spellcaster archetype that can utilize DMOC just as they released Chaos Dragon archetype, which utilized BLS very, very well.
yeah, the situations that both of those cards are in are very similar.
Just make sure it's right.
You know, a year ago or whenever BLS come back a year ago.
Yep.
Right. So 1 year ago, BLS was introduced to pave the way for the chaos format, and now there is a spellcaster deck being printed. So it would be a very Konami thing to do to give us DMOC.
It'd be very appropriate to do. Seeing also how it got reprinted in the battle pack.
Yeah. Just like BLS was reprinted. Yeah. Similar things.
Wow. Hard to do.
This is just pretty random. I feel like Reborn could get hit if DMOC comes back.
Are we?
That's an interesting thing.
I'm not saying it will because of DMOC, but I'm saying if everyone's had talk of Monsterborn being banned because it's such a useful power card. And if it did, and DMOC came back, it would almost make kind of sense.
Monster Reborn's been around for
Yep.
like
2 years.
2 years now. We have to recall the Haunted, so I don't see any reason to take it away. But because then people just play that for the most part, but it's not always true. I don't know.
What's next in the ideal for being banned?
Okay.
Run them down and then we'll talk about them.
Well, our ideal ban list to 0. Like these cards are all being banned. This is one of my personal lists. Not everyone at this table agrees with me. I have BLS, Morphing Jar, Future Fusion, Leviair, Wind Up Hunter, and Royal Magic Library. I'm going to talk about that one later.
Yes, it's a thing.
It's a thing for me. So we should talk about Future Fusion next. That's a pretty quick and easy one.
Dragons.
Dragons are good, and since this list mostly hits on the TCG, you know, dragons. The end.
Well, they were also saying that they don't have to get rid of Future Fusion, they can just get rid of 5-head, because they're like, oh, we can't reveal 5-head and get all those targets, but at the same time, just...
Ideally, this is the ideal list at this point. I feel like Future Fusion should be banned because the stupid kind of plays it opens up, like...
On most
I don't know,
times.
even like Jinzo OTK is pretty dumb, I'd like to say.
And Future Fusion FTK.
Yeah. Like there's like 7 different variations of Future Fusion OTKs, including dragons.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
you know, it would be a nice thing to happen, I think. It's the best way to hurt dragons. Hitting 5-headed really doesn't solve the problem, it just prolongs it.
Somebody in the chat said, why not just limit or semi-limit a tomb? Because a tomb doesn't matter at all.
Moving on.
It's more so like even like just take dragons out of the equation. Future Fusion is just a really big power card.
It's in, like Kenny just brought up, he said it's an enabler card.
No, I think the guy Dragons he was talking about.
Yeah,
Heretics.
heretics instead
Oh,
of chaos dragons.
It's important to note that we're talking about specifically Chaos Dragons right now with regard to Future Fusion. Although heretics are good,
We'll get to that later.
they're not dominating anything in the TCG paradigm.
Yeah, right, Kenny?
What do you
Okay, so Leviair.
Anyway,
Don't worry about it.
yes, Leviair is a good topic.
Leviair is the
Um,
best ICs.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna give an example.
PP.
Face made a plant mirror from a long time ago, and we were playing a game, and he said that he had to remove a play Dandelion, and he was talking about how it was removed from the game and it would never come back, ever. Now with Leviair, you would easily be able to get back the Dandelion by just normal summoning Tour Guide or overlaying
Anything, it's more
anything.
accessible than the graveyard.
Yeah.
Like I would love to remove my Sangan for a BLS because I know later on
I've
I
done-
could tour guide.
yeah,
absolutely.
I've done. I removed Honest in a tournament with DLS and then Leviated it back into my hand.
I think it's extremely problematic where, alright, if you're playing against Rabbit, and any experienced player will tell you that if you're playing against Rescue Rabbit deck, you let them summon the Rescue Rabbit, and you wait for them to use the effect if you're going to use Solemn Warning. But like, if you've ever been in a situation where they go, oh, I have Tour Guide anyway, that's you know, like it's almost irrelevant that you did that, even though you made the correct play because you don't want them to monster one on the card. They still get the advantage of having a tour guide and being able to bring back Rabbit. So, like, you know, the correct play is to remove it from the game, but you end up being punished for your correct play.
And on top of it, even if it wasn't an amazing power card like it is, it pretty much
Okay.
changes the game. I mean, in a way, like it turns the remove from play
Let's see who it is.
or banish zone into
Oh, we got it.
just another zone.
James, we got it.
That's virtually it. It's just another place to get monsters from.
So, I think Leviair being banned is, well, we should also touch on why banning it. Like, some people might be saying, why not just limit it or, you know, putting it in 1? Which is, I think it could happen, like, you know, Trishula was broken and they put it to 1 and then they banned it.
So are we still talking about Leviair?
Yeah, we're talking about now why,
It's worth talking about.
it's definitely worth going on for a while about because it's a big card. I don't know, you guys do.
Don't worry about what we're doing.
Okay. So, I don't know.
Something,
We could put it to
something
1.
might, I think something will happen to Leviair though.
go to 1.
I hope so. A lot of people are saying it might go to 1.
But then it's just like, oh,
It's
you
still-
play one levy or congratulations.
Yeah.
So
Well,
the
some decks
same-
play 2.
Yeah, a lot of those.
You know? I don't know. It's definitely
So hard.
Yeah.
for our ideal list, definitely to 0. But what actually might end up happening, it might be different. So, you guys want to move on to the next topic, or
Yeah, what's the next one on the list?
we have Wind Up Hunter.
I think more if you want to talk about Wind Up Hunter? Or,
No, I mean everyone should as a whole, but I
Well,
mean ideally I would, I've been playing windups for like the past month. Ideally, I think both wind-up players and just anyone who's versed windups would want wind-up hunter banned because it effectively, it doesn't kill the deck because they still have a lot of special summoning power with their wind-up rats and zombies, which I don't consider, and a lot of people don't consider, the main problem with the deck. It's the fact that they can boot 3 or 4 cards out of your hand without you having any response to it, unless you happen to draw their maxi.
yeah. That can be really fun though, even without.
But
Hunter.
if you deleted Hunter from the entire deck, or like the equation, it's just a deck that can easily swarm monsters. But that's all it is.
But that's fine. And that's
Which
fine.
is fine.
They're not very strong when they swarm.
Which we're not going to discuss if we actually think Hunter will get banned, or even if or what will get banned, or even if anything will get touched in Windup right now. But realistically, for our ideal list, which is different than what we assume Konami will actually do, we would prefer Hunter to get banned. And I guess we'll move on to the next one, unless you guys want to talk about Hunter.
Let's keep moving on.
Okay. The last 2 cards to put to 0 on this list, I have Morphing Jar and Library. Well, I was the only one that wanted Morphing Jar on here. Andrew also wanted it down here.
Which is not with us.
Andrew's not with us, but I'll talk on his behalf. It's just a good card. It's not like an absolutely broken card, but the reason that Morphing Jar and Royal Magic Library are on my list for me is
It's all him. Don't blame me. Don't
Yeah,
don't unsub. Thank you.
none of them really agree with me with this,
Okay.
but
You don't have to. Well, I mean, this is an ideal list. It's not what Konami should do.
Yeah,
but
this
if
isn't-
you hear his, his reasoning, it makes sense.
Yeah.
alright. The logic behind this is a few months ago or some time ago, Konami published an article explaining why they do the ban lists the way that they do. And within that article, they said that they try to eliminate as many first turn kills and solitaire decks as possible. Which is a smart thing for them to do because nobody likes playing against a solitaire deck where you just, every turn, the first turn.
Where you make Trishula 6
You-
times.
you just
whoever makes that.
You have like a 30 card process of making Trishula over and over and you loop
Throwing out
everything.
your entire deck.
Or you make your opponent mill out their entire deck with Morphing Jar or something. You've played against these decks. So, on my ideal list, I have Morphing Jar banned because Morphing Jar OTK, while it's not the best deck in the world, it's not incredibly
It still
super duper
exists.
consistent. Yeah, it's still a deck that happens. Yeah, it's still a thing.
That's just good, but it's still a thing that's just like, oh, I can OTK you for a bullshit reason.
Yeah, and nobody likes playing against it, that's the thing. Like, nobody likes sitting there and just letting their opponent do everything that they want to do for free, and then they can just, they can just win, and there's no real response to it. And Morphing Jar and Royal Magic Library both represent, Royal Magic Library is in Exodia draw out decks, and Morphing Jar is in Morphing Jar OTK. And
I don't know what library does.
Library lets you draw cards every time you activate 3 spells.
Okay. Oh yeah, that thing. Okay. I didn't know that was. I didn't-
You remove 3 spell counters
Yeah,
from
yeah.
it.
I know what it does now.
So they're both used in OTK decks, and no one likes playing against them. And it's really,
Top tier 12.
it's more about the concept of not wanting to play against these decks than it is about actually these cards being broken, because these cards by themselves are fine, but it's the decks.
I think there's another thing you should probably touch on, which is one of the reasons you were trying to tell me when you had things on the list and I was skeptical, is that Morphing Jar and Royal Magic Library are realistically keeping other cards which are not broken at all on the semi-limited and limited list, such as Magic and Stone Excavation and
Yeah.
Book of Moon.
You can't have more than one Book of Moon in this format, I would say, because Morphing Jar OTK becomes too consistent. You can't have Magical Stone Excavation at more than 2 because decks become more consistent. It's keeping other cards that are balanced off of the fair play list, which is unfair to those cards. Additionally, you know, you've got things like D-Draw at 2. Destiny Heroes suck, like, but you can't have too many draw cards in the game because Exodia decks will just draw with World Magic Library and stuff. So that's another reason why they're on my list. You know, there's an OTK with Butterfly Dagger Elna that you need Royal Magic Library for, and that card's banned. So if we're a Magic Library, we're banned, then we can have back a stupid equip card that's really bad. Yay.
Enabler cards.
Kind of, maybe. It's debatable. But
Are we just going on to what's next? Can we?
yeah, we can move on. But that's just my idea. I just want to get rid of bad OTK decks that are annoying to fight against. That's all.
Next is ideal for put to 1.
Yeah, the next topic is ideal cards to be limited.
Keep in mind we are going to talk about what we actually think Konami will do. This is just our ideal section.
Yeah.
But also don't make them money.
So I want to introduce this one. I can do it all the time.
Alrighty. I also just want to point this out here. I didn't make this ideal list, so I mean I might not be able to completely explain
Speak up.
the list here. On this list, it's Cyberstein to 1. As much as I'd love to talk about it, I didn't have anything planned for this section.
Just
Sam, you want to talk about Cyberstein 1?
1 second.
So